Welcome to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, James Jackson.
I'm your co-host, Dr. Wayne Moore.
It's good to have you all here with us. Always a pleasure to host with you.
Yeah, it is always a pleasure to host with you. That's what we do, man. We work together to make things happen for Central Indiana. And that's what it's all about.
And speaking of making things happen, I want to thank our sponsors who are
Yes,
helping
yes,
us make it happen.
yes, we do. Lee Cossell and Crawley, thank you for your help keeping us on the air. Fervent Care Christian Academy, Marion County Public Health Department, thank you for the work you're doing in the city of Indianapolis and around Marion County. Al's Modern Clothing and Shoes, and the historical Martin University and His Place Eatery and Northside Windows and Gutters Cleaning. Get in touch with those businesses and they'll give you what you need based on your request.
We certainly thank God for them. Also, if you'd like to watch this show after it's over, as well as others that you might have missed over the past several years, now that we've been on, go to WHMB TV 40 on YouTube and
like us on Facebook. We're there waiting on you to be a part of the fellowship.
absolutely. And please be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell when you're on YouTube so you'll know when we are on. We got some great guests coming on with us. Dr. Moore, Starfish is going to be in the house.
Yeah, Kimberly Bostick is back with us today, and we're going to hear what she has to say. It's been over a little bit over a year. She's been the president, CEO over there at Starfish, and she's going to that incentive, talk about that incentive. And she's got a special person with her today, and we're going to have a great time with her.
Yeah, Jai Tudor. So stay with us. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices, and we're joined by Miss Kimberly Bostick. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having us. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to both of you ladies. Yes.
Thank you.
And Jai Tudor is with you. Hello.
Hi. How are you doing?
Fine. Tell us about what's happening with Jai. I want to hear what's going on with this star right here before us today.
Hello. So I have been brought on today to just talk about a little bit of my experience with Starfish. I'm actually a college graduate now, but I was introduced to Starfish when I was in middle school, and that was my 8th grade year. So transitioning into high school, they gave me a mentor who helped me out with a lot of college stuff and learning about different programs, different majors, taking me on college tours, and also just helping me with some other developmental things, just like mental health and just the transition into being a teen to a young adult. The reason I've really been brought on today is just to talk about my success after Starfish. So I've recently been offered a position with Zillow Group out in San Francisco to do product design, which is what I went to school for at Purdue University. And so it's really just nice to see all the fruits of not only my labor, but my mother's labor and everybody who's just been along the journey with me this way. So I've just come back to support Starfish. I'm actually currently interning here before my new position starts, and I've just been able to help out and give back to the organization.
Well, that is phenomenal. I see you two ladies are wearing your masks so your life can last.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's really all about. And that's phenomenal to be a poster child or a poster adult for the Starfish Incentive, and that's great. So how do you think you're going to like San Francisco?
It is going to be pretty expensive, so I've heard, but it's also the #1 place in the country for people in my field. So I'm excited to get out there and learn about the new area. I've barely had a lot of experience on the West Coast, and also just to make a lot of money.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
and Kim, this has to be very exciting for you and the Starfish Initiative. This is the quintessential example of what you all hope for.
Absolutely. So Jai represents what I like to call the return on our investment. Jai, like so many other of our scholars, has had the pleasure of going through the program and learning, the different techniques that a lot of us did not have the pleasure of being preempted with. So if we were the first in our family to go to college, we didn't have a lot of information on how to be successful. If we dealt with, a higher ed, the hierarchical institutional biases that come with going to colleges, we didn't know how to deal with that. And so Jai had the pleasure of being able to be connected to Starfish to make sure that she had prepared herself. So it's not us that's preparing her. It's just we're walking along the journey with her and helping her to move around barriers as they come. And she's done that. She's been successful, and just hats off to her for all the success that she's had. And we're just excited to celebrate her.
I'm excited about the fact that she finished Purdue.
Yes.
You
I'll
know,
forgive her for that.
yeah,
I use still number one in my opinion.
yeah, I understand, but yeah, Purdue has quite a history in the last 4 or 5 years, and tremendous. It's great to know that you accomplished that degree from Purdue University. Now you're moving forward.
Yes.
How was that experience?
It definitely was not easy. I will say that much. So I was actually blessed to go into college with 30 extra credits just upon entry. So I was able to graduate a semester early. I can't say the same for some of my counterparts in the same year as me, but I was able to get out early. However, Purdue is not always the easiest, especially for people of color. But the one thing that I will say is that the education is really unmatched. And I do feel like it's been a big part of the reason that I was able to accomplish everything that I was able to accomplish this year in terms of just learning who I was, being able to stay sane throughout COVID. Honestly, Purdue was really hard to stay sane through in my college time. So this COVID was almost nothing compared to just the mental stress that I have been under at other times in my life. I think it was just really, really awesome to go be given the tools and resources to learn so much from so many different people from all walks of life.
Well, we're very, 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 very proud of you. And are there others who started with you who are also experiencing the same kind of testimony that you have today?
Yeah, there are definitely some people. So my major specifically is what I'll decide to talk about just because I'm not really sure about too many other people from different areas. However, I'm in UX design, and it's a pretty new field. I would say it came to life in the last 10 years. And what we're all about is tech and making tech more user friendly for people, like everyday people or anyone, honestly. So the reason that I mentioned that is because a lot of people from my major have also been gifted and blessed with really good opportunities job wise. I know some people that are working for General Electric, some people that are working for IBM, Microsoft, Amazon, just you name it. And I just feel like, again, those opportunities were definitely made more abundant by just being in the atmosphere at Purdue. It's a really big STEM school, tech school. So those companies do come back to recruit there often.
That's an amazing situation. You talked about being a STEM school, and you know that in our communities, STEM has not really reached its apex yet. How did you struggle with the STEM philosophy at Purdue, not having much of it when you went into Purdue?
So in high school, I was fortunate enough to do IB. That kind of started preparing me for things like math. I didn't really do so well in the math in high school, but in Purdue, there were a lot more resources for me to learn about in terms of just like getting tutoring and getting help. So it was definitely a struggle. I was actually the first African-American woman to graduate with a degree in my field at Purdue. So definitely not a lot of people to look back to in my own field, but there are a lot of engineering Black women or other marketing Black women or anything like that. So I feel like just being able to depend on people that have been through it before and that can really help you was a really big part of my journey.
Okay.
Kim, how can parents get their children on track as Jai was able to get in? I think she said somewhere middle school.
Yeah.
What are the criteria? What is the criteria for being able to get in the program?
Yeah, great. A great question and a great segue. And I'll also back up on the STEM question. So for Starfish, we recruit in the 8th grade. And so we rely on the teachers and the counselors within the school to share about the program of Starfish. Our philosophy is that we want to make sure that in the 8th grade, the scholars have already been identified as 21st century scholarship eligible. So they've applied for the 21st Century Scholarship Program. That's the base of the criteria for our scholars to be in the program. We recruit, they get it once they fill out their application, so that they just have to be able to say that they're committed to going to college, they're 21st Century Scholarship eligible, and they write an essay that talks about some type of adversity that they see as a barrier that potentially could help them to achieve their educational goals. And those are the basic criteria. We then go through a selection process. We identify those scholars that will participate and bring them in their freshman year. They continue through the program through their senior year of high school. And we use those 21st Century Scholarship, 21st Century Scholar track criteria each year to keep them on track to make sure that they're graduating. But I also wanted to make sure that I talk a little bit about Dr. Moore, you talked about STEM and just STEM really just not reaching its apex here in the central Indiana, particularly with our minority communities. And so we try and partner with organizations.
Kim, if you can stick a pin right there, we got to take a hard break.
Yeah.
And you pick it up right where you left off.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're going to let you run with the ball. As soon as we come back, we'll be back after this. Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices. And just before the break, Kim Bostick, you were telling us about the STEM. If you would continue, please.
Yes. Absolutely. You know, I think it's important that we talk about STEM and STEAM. So STEAM is the addition of adding architecture into the science, technology, engineer, architectural, and math. And so one of the things that we recognize is that our scholars don't have a lot of opportunity to really be exposed to what that is and how to participate. And so we have partnered with organizations like Creators Camp that are small, ma and pa is what I call them, set up shops that it's a mother who knew that her son needed some additional science classes. This was not getting the information that he needed. He was not being, just pushed to be engaged in science and technology. And she started this small firm, nonprofit that offers science and technology. And we partner with organizations like that, bringing minorities to the room. We work with MEPI to help them participate in opportunities to explore. They built lamps last week. They'll be building small cameras that they can actually take pictures on, just to expose them, because a lot of kids will say, well, I'm not good at math or science is hard. And they don't really understand that this actually might be something that they could be interested in. And as Jai mentioned, there's opportunities to get tutoring and to help you strengthen in the areas where you are weak.
It would be phenomenal, though, if our systems of education would start gearing and putting more dollars into STEM and STEAM, I believe it was that you were talking about. Because the 16 Tech philosophy that is coming through here, most of those jobs are going to be six-figure jobs. And the sad event of it is that most of these young people, like Ms. Tudor here, I have to go to San Francisco to make a living wage or a wage. Because we have, and I'll say it publicly, our school system is totally behind. Charter systems are not as great as they had anticipated them to be. And so students are falling between the cracks as it relates to math and science and the new ideology of STEAM, which is promoting engineering. And so those are the kind of things that I think are serious and we need to look at, because we do want to keep our young people here in the state of Indiana and even in Marion County to make those type of wages instead of having people come in from other states consuming all of those six-figure salaries.
I think you've heard all of my conversations with our colleagues, because, I challenge since 16 Tech and other organizations that bring in so many students from outside of the state to take advantage of these programs. And I have simply challenged them. We've got talent right here. And while, yes, our schools may be failing, yes, we may not have the robust programs that other states have, but we've got talent. And I think it's important that we make sure that our students are aware of the opportunity and we bring the wraparound services that'll help them be better prepared. They don't even know that the opportunities are there.
To build a hotel and to say that we're going to be hiring people at $14 an hour
Yes.
is no incentive for young people to do anything other than a service job. So when you have people in the business arena promoting that type of philosophy, it's sad to me. This young lady has done a tremendous job, and I'm very proud of the fact that it sounds like her and her mother have been pushing this thing for some time. So your mother needs to be commended as well as a single parent in this particular situation. And I don't know your mom, but I'm praying for her to handle it pretty good when you go to San Francisco.
Well, she has one more kid. He's actually on his way out of high school, and he likes football. So he's actually trying to go to some school in Indiana to play football and pursue a degree in engineering as well. I think I've inspired him at least that much. One thing that I would definitely say about being Black in STEM is that being taught STEM in school is never made to be appealing to people that look like us. They always make it seem like it's just so hard to learn, and they don't really seem to want to put extra effort into people that might just need that little extra push. One thing that really, really helped me when I got to school was finding the understanding that STEM is not just about the numbers, it's not just about science, it's not just about math. The way that I was really able to relate it back to my life was realizing that I have a really big affinity for art, and I found something in STEM that still allows me to be an artist. So I'm designing things for people and making visual designs, and that's all still considered coding in STEM, but nobody tells you about those things. So that's something that I would really like to see moving forward, is just a push and trying to appeal to different things that people like, as opposed to making it seem just like a machine.
So you broke the code. Found
Yep.
We can get you back at some point after you've matriculated there in San Francisco, and you come back and help us here in Indianapolis. If you could stand the shift in the weather. There's going to be some great. You're going to some great weather, and hopefully you'll want to come back here. Kim, tell us how people can become mentors and volunteers.
Absolutely. So they could always visit our website at starfishinitiative.org, and you can just click the tab on mentor, how to become a mentor. There's an application link that they can fill out as for interest. And we would connect you one-on-one with our director of mentor engagement. She is an amazing young lady, also has an amazing story in her own right, and she can walk you through. She was a mentor herself. She's very personal to understand what is it that what interests you and why you want to become a mentor. And we're doing a much better job of making sure that those mentor pairs match the needs of both the mentor and the scholar. So just go to the website, starfishinitiative.org, and we would be happy to have you.
All right. Well, thank the both of you all for coming on the Starfish Initiative. We certainly appreciate you. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kim and Jai, you as well.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices with the Rundown. I'm your host, James Jackson.
Co-host Wayne Moore. We're right here.
And I'm your executive producer, Faith McKinney.
And I'm Curtis Baker. Bring it in the rear.
And we would typically have our sponsors here. You'll see them on the screen, but we have a very special announcement that Faith McKinney, who started with us and has done a tremendous job in helping us move Real People, Real Voices forward, will be moving on to some other things. And thank you, Faith, for doing.
Thank you for your work and labor. Tell us what you're going to be doing.
Well, I'm going to be concentrating on my speaking. I help people get into the media. So I've got another book on the horizon, and COVID has put a wrench in some things, but it's really helped me in other things, in other ways. So I think that um, serving the community in other capacities will just make me a better, more well-rounded person.
Okay, well, we wish you well, and uh, we'll give you an opportunity to come back and promote your book.
Oh, thank you.
Because you've given a lot of people, through Real People, Real Voices, an opportunity to promote their books, and I think it's only right that we give you that privilege to do that as well.
Well, it's just been a pleasure so much. I'm sorry, Pastor Moore. I just can't express how much and how grateful I am to all of you and to you at home for opening your hearts and your minds and, working with you, Curtis and Pastor Jackson, Pastor Moore, and everybody at the station.
All righty. This is going to
Thank
be,
you.
look forward to that book coming out.
We definitely will have you back when we have the return to the studio, which will be partly. And I know one of the things that we're going to do, we will definitely have Pastor Moore and Pastor Jackson back in the studio. And we can still do the Zoom for our guests, but I think we want to get you guys back in here in the next couple of weeks to see how that works out. But we'll be bringing everybody back at some point. Superiors will be back. We'll just be back to normal. But Faith, I want to say that, your help with the show has been unmatched. All the guests that you've been able to bring on to make the show to be where it is for the past 4 years. Everyone here at TV 40 thanks you. It's going to be a void to be filled that I'm not sure it can be, but we just appreciate all the things that you've done to make the show a great success.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for opening your hearts and your minds and your just sharing with me your knowledge. And I really appreciate it. And I still want to share with the community. I still want to help business leaders, civic leaders, people in the community to get the word out. That's my whole intention.
And I'm sure you will, as you don't let the grass grow under your feet.
Oh.
Thank you, Faith. And thank you all. We'll see you next time.